try as he might, he could not remember the last time they had stood on the dockside in Dundalk. He had been far too young. Even his sister's memories of Ireland were vague, and his older brother refused to talk about it much. It was their father who had related the stories of his homeland to them, trying to keep alive the memory of their mother. That was until he remarried some years after they settled in England. Whenever Patrick or his sisters inquired about their mother, the subject was changed out of respect for his father's new wife. In time, nobody asked, and the memories began to fade. As the scene around him turned hazy, Patrick heard his brother calling him. He felt strong arms lift him up from the ground, and the blurred image of a donkey and cart appeared in front of him before everything went black. Chapter 2. On seeing two strangers approach her cottage, Maggie leaned out to greet them and realized one was being supported by the other. "Bless us and save us, come in," she fussed, opening the bottom of the half door. The day being sunny and fresh, the top part had been left open all morning to air out the cottage. Tom half carried his younger brother in through the doorway and looked around to see where he could sit him down. "Over here, son. Lay him on that bed in the corner." "He looks in a bad way. What ails him?" asked Maggie. "He just needs to rest. Don't worry, it's not fever or anything like that. You're in no danger," said Tom. "Thank goodness for that. Are ye looking for someone, or have ye just taken a long walk in the fresh air?" Maggie was used to visitors coming to Blackrock for the good of their health. "Are ye staying in one of the hotels in the village?" although she doubted that by the state of their clothes. Tom shook his head as he carefully helped Patrick down onto the settle bed. He felt nervous about telling a total stranger the true purpose of their visit. "Do any of the McGrothers live here?" he asked. "We were told to ask for a Maggie McGrother at this house." "I'm Maggie O'Neill by marriage, but everyone calls me McGrother on account of my brother James. You just missed him by a day. He was here for a week with his wife, but they returned to England yesterday. In fact, I only came back to live in Blackrock myself not more than a month ago. James and Mary have returned to England to fetch their children. They should be back here in no time. Where have ye come from, son?" "My father is Thomas Gallagher. Do you recall him, Mrs. O'Neill? He's from Carlow, but lives in Yorkshire now." "Please call me Maggie. I can't say that I know your father. Did he live here in Blackrock at any time?" "We lived in one of the fishermen's cottages for a few months with Pat and Annie McGrother. Their nephew James was in England at the time, but his wife Mary was living with them, and a young daughter by the name of Catherine. Am I correct in saying that, Mrs. Maggie?" With an excited cry, Maggie threw her arms around the young man and hugged him tightly. "It was your father, Thomas Gallagher, who painted the name on James's boat, wasn't it?" she asked. Tom nodded. "I helped to repair the nets. Was your brother surprised to find that he was the owner of a boat on his return from England? I remember meeting him on the quayside just before we sailed to Liverpool." "He was indeed, but that's another story. Let me put some water on the boil, and you can tell me how your family is faring across the water." While his brother dropped off to sleep, Tom chatted with Maggie about his sisters and his father and what type of employment they all had. Having slept for half an hour, young Patrick roused himself but cried out in pain as soon as he tried to sit up. Tom was at his side in an instant. "Here you go, young man." Maggie handed Patrick a cup of hot tea and some bread. "I'm much obliged to you, ma'am, for the rest and the food. I hope I haven't inconvenienced you in any way." "Well, there's manners for you. It's no trouble at all, son. Are you in a lot of pain?" Maggie turned to the older brother. "Do you think he needs a doctor? He's as white as my apron." She looked down at her ash-stained garment and quickly removed it. Tom shook his head and asked if he could close the other half of the door, explaining that what he was about to divulge was for Maggie's ears alone. "Of course you can. You're being very furtive. Anyone would think he had murdered someone." The two young men exchanged nervous glances before Tom knelt beside his brother.